Hi, everyone. So I'm Michael Lofthouse. I'm responsible for the Eastern region sales for Contagion. Good news is I'm the lucky guy who gets the 10 minutes before lunch, so everyone's getting moody, really proud to get that spot. But going to focus, this should take about 10 minutes, that's the good news. I'm going to focus on optimizing mobile customer experience, and we'll look at three key concepts which you're all very familiar with: acquisition, engagement, and value or monetization. Let's see, here we go. So this was out recently, this month actually. Quite interesting, I thought. So there's a greater amount of traffic for the first time ever in retail through mobile and tablet devices than PC. The challenge, though, is that monetization is still lagging. Only 3% apparently are actually monetizing through the mobile channel. So the question then becomes, how do we bridge the mobile monetization gap? And we'll focus on how Contagion as a company do that and help our customers to achieve that. I'll try not to be too salesy. I'll try to be informative. So, like I said, there are three areas we help our customers bridge that gap. The first is acquisition, which is particularly key in retail. The second is what we call experience or engagement. So how do we drive, we'll talk about first-time user experience. Our customers tell us the criticality of the first-time user experience. How do we get our users engaged so we can retain them, engage them, and then have them come back and be loyal customers down the line? The final piece is monetization and value. So talking about, what's the lifetime value of our user, what's the cost to acquire versus the revenue that those users are driving through the mobile channel, and therefore what's the return on investment. So the first question, which focuses on acquisition, is how can I maximize the ROI of my marketing spend? So within Contagion, we give you the ability to look at different cohorts of users, but also analyze the revenue that's coming through the mobile channel, and in particular through your campaigns. So here what you see visualized is three different campaigns. So Jack Threads are a customer of ours. They're doing a lot of this analysis, focusing on what's the cost per install, particularly through Facebook. For them, they do a lot of Facebook mobile ads, as I'm sure you know. So they really want to know, okay, what's the cost to acquire each individual user who's installing our application? So you can see here, it's kind of interesting and it's fairly clear. You've got three different campaigns, and we're looking at the lifetime value of your users against number of sessions. And so you can see clearly the green campaign we probably need to cut. It's not providing any return or a very low return. You can see the purples, breaking even, that's fine, and becoming slightly profitable. And the blue is clearly a very efficient campaign. This is a fairly simple example, but I think it enhances and shows what we're able to provide as part of our solution. Are we doing questions at the end or throughout? Does it? Okay. Any questions at this point on acquisition? Or? No? Oh, okay.
When you say your statistic around 3% of the revenue on mobile versus 97 PC, is that the aggregate of tablet and phone?
I believe so,
okay.
yeah.
And where was the stat from? What data or source?
I think it was on my CMO did this deck, so I apologize. I think it was on the first deck. Did anyone see that? Yeah, should I go back? It said that on the first slide, but not the second one, so let's see. Yeah, not on there, but I think it's from the same source, so yeah, ComScore. Well done, paying attention. Good man. Okay, anything else? All right, let me just catch up here. So second thing we're going to focus on, moving on to mobile customer experience, and we're going to talk about engagement and how we address this. So again, I mentioned the term first-time user experience and how critical that is in mobile. Most of our customers, or where we actually began as a company in 2007, was in the gaming arena. And so if you think about gaming, it's so important to make a sticky first-time user experience. Gamers they don't have much patience. They'll deinstall the app pretty quickly if the game sucks or it's got performance issues. And I think that's relevant to pretty much anyone's application nowadays. So in this example, how we look at this is what we call funnel analysis and funnel conversion analysis. And this gives you the ability to look at, okay, where's the drop-off point? And in this particular example here, this is actually for eHarmony, another customer of ours. We're looking at, okay, where's the drop-off point? And if we can impact an extra, let's say, 10% at that drop-off point, what's the downstream conversion rate, an increase that we can impact? So here we can see a 10%. That was a quick animation. Did you see that? Let's do it again. 32.3% up to 42 point, my eyes are terrible, 42.3. That's a 10% increase between registration to actually selecting and purchasing a package. What's the downstream effect of that? Well, you can see it's fairly significant. There's a 32% increase, and your funnel conversion rate is now 7.8%. And we can start to dig into reasons behind that, and we can start to look at, okay, if we can make these increases, what's the downstream impact of that? And you can cut this up in pretty much any way you want. It's kind of interesting. Okay, final piece, moving on to what we call value or monetization, is around lifetime value. So the way we approach this, this is actually an Uber example. The way we approach this is what we call custom events and event timelines. And so we're looking at the conversion events over time versus sessions. And what are the behaviors that our consumers are portraying throughout these sessions, and how are they converting over time? So the good news here is you can see the conversion rates are going up. That's good news. There are 3 different components that we want to look at, 3 different what we call events: taxi, rideshare, and black car. And as you can see over time, the taxi has become more, has increased in terms of the behaviors that the consumers are portraying, and that's what they're going for over time, versus originally they were looking and booking black cars more than taxis. So we can start to understand, okay, what's driving this behavior, and is there a way we can use promotional tactics or various other marketing tactics to drive those consumers who aren't using black cars back into that channel, if that's what we want to do? So it really provides the data that allows you to ask a number of questions and get a number of answers. And that's really what Contagion do. Okay, I forgot that animation was there. So that's kind of quite quickly where we focus. I hope that made sense. Just very quickly about Contagion. We're a software and services company. Like I said, we've been going since 2007. We have been in the last 12 months sort of focusing very much on sort of what we call non-traditional verticals outside of gaming and gambling, which is where our core of the business used to be. So now we're very focused on retail, financial services, healthcare, and travel and hospitality. As you can see, we're a big data provider. We crunch a lot of data. Effectively, we drop an SDK into the application, and we collect the data, and then we visualize that data back through our dashboard, and you can start to see the types of things that we've talked about here. And we're growing quickly. That's actually an old data point. We're around 140 plus employees now, and growing quite nicely. So things are good. And some of the brands we work with here. As you can see, quite a nice spread of companies across various verticals. I think that's it. I think I've brought us close to back on time for lunch, so thank you. Hope that was informative. Please give me any questions if you have any.
Nice presentation, thank you. Hey, sorry if I missed this. Can you drop your SDK in a web environment, or is it focused on native apps? Is there a way to do it, I guess? Is there a way to apply those analytics to a mobile website environment?
Yeah. I don't believe so. So we, as a business, we focus on native app. We do have some customers, so Deluxe Corp are using us for web. We have the ability to do that, but it's not really core to what we do. Okay, thanks all.